everybody, and welcome to Dream Again, which is finally saying yes to all that is inside of you. So we've just completed our Kickstart series to give you some momentum, and now I want to introduce you to the second series, which is called Just a Reminder. So sometimes when I'm intensely working at my office, I hear a ding, and it's this little reminder that tells me that I have a meeting to go to in 10 minutes. Now, sometimes it takes me by surprise because I'm so focused on catching up on emails that I knew that I had the meeting, but I completely forgot about it. And so that's what these next few weeks kind of serve. Things that you probably know, but I just want to remind you because it's going to be so important when it comes to pursuing your deepest desires. So I have 2 kids, so I love to tell them stories, and I absolutely love the story of Samson. And I know it's a popular story, you probably know it, but I need you guys to stick with me because I promise you there is a point, and I'm going to make it. So Samson was a man of crazy strength who, as a very young child, was dedicated to the Lord to deliver God's people from their enemies, and those enemies were the Philistines. So he was so strong that he could tear these wild animals apart with his bare hands. He killed an entire army all on his own. And for 20 years, he protected and defended Israel from any harm. And it was said that he never lost a battle. So you can imagine how upset these Philistines were because Samson was ruining their plans to continue to dominate the land. So it was in the Philistines' best interest to find out where his strength was sourced from. And that's exactly what they did. So they found out by bribing a woman by the name of Delilah that Samson had fallen in love with. So Samson was tempted, that's the key word, tempted, so he could have escaped it by her and told her that his strength was in his hair. So just like that, Delilah cut it off while he was sleeping, delivered the Philistines to Samson, who immediately gouged his eyes out and sent him to prison. But while he was in prison, his hair began to grow. And then during this time, a great event was put on by the Philistines because they were going to offer up all these sacrifices to their gods. So they wanted and decided to parade Samson around and have him do tricks and kind of just basically say, you know what, you thought you had us, but we now have you, ha, ha, ha. So Samson was placed between 2 pillars. And he said this, he said, God, please look on me again. Give me strength just one more time. So he took a hold of those 2 pillars that supported the temple, pushed them with all his might until the entire temple collapsed. And it was said that he killed more in that one moment than he did in his entire life. He killed more in the latter than he did in his former. So I'm going to break that down a little bit more. He did more after he messed up than he did before he messed up. So you may have found yourself similar to Samson. You found yourself in a place wondering, how in the world did I fall into this temptation again? Every time this person comes around, every time this substance is presented to me, every time someone says this is my response. And I keep freaking falling and I can't get enough of it. It keeps calling my name. It keeps trapping me. It's getting worse. And now I'm stuck. And let's just face it, you hit a rock because you didn't heed the warnings. And I'm sure you did the same thing that Samson probably did in that jail cell, which was, man, I wish I could go back to before I even dealt with that temptation. I was in my element. I killed hundreds to protect hundreds. Going back to the days of victory would be the best right now. And you could be saying the same thing. Like, I had so much zeal. I was so on fire. I had so much passion. I seemed to have everything. I wish I could just go back to the place where I had success and happiness. But how cool is it that the same gift that God blessed Samson with to tear up those wild animals was the same exact gift that he used to kill thousands after he had fallen? So the same gift that you had back then is the same gift that you have now. What was inside of you is still inside of you. God does not renege on what he purposed for you to do. It is still there. And then let me tell you something else. When your faith is restored as Samson, so if you found yourself being tempted, your faith needs to be restored and you need to surrender. And when you find yourself in that moment, do not use your past successes as a measuring stick. Be assured and confident that your gifts are still present. and be prepared for God to do something better. See, I don't want to have the success that I used to have. Although I'm so happy for those moments, I'm looking for God to do bigger. I'm looking for him to do better, and I'm looking for him to do different, and different is okay. So just a few years ago, you would have found me preaching. You would have found me going to tons of engagements. You would have found me doing all sorts of things, such as leading a ministry with my husband. And it might look like it's just a little bit different than what I'm doing now, which is videos. So when you compare those two things of me doing the things in my past and speaking and being in charge of all these different organizations, and then you look at me now doing these videos, someone might say, you know what, Tishonna, that just doesn't seem like a huge thing that you're doing. You did all that stuff and now you're just doing this. But I want to let you know that doing that back in the day, I was broken. I had no idea who I was. I had no idea who I was serving. I did several things that broke God's heart. And now I'm standing here today so excited and so happy because I'm a whole person. I'm confident in who I am. I'm confident in the God that I serve. And God is now able to bring increase to the very foundation that I've set upon. So I'm so excited that now is better. Now is different than what I had before. So I want to encourage you right now that if you found yourself in a place where you're comparing yourself to your past, do not allow the successes of what happened then to put a limit on what you believe God is going to do for you now. He is going to do better. He is going to do more, and he's ready to do more. So let go of that temptation, overcome it, surrender, allow your faith to be restored, and allow God to blow your mind. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.